Hello everybody, my name is Kuuribro. Welcome back to Telltale's Game of Thrones. Now, just like I did in The Wolf Among Us, I want to have an in-between game episodes, little story time, where we go through the extra information that they give you in the game. In The Wolf Among Us, they called it the Book of Fairy Tales. Here it's in the Codex, and since I don't know anything about the world of the Game of Thrones, this will be even more important for me. So that I can get a sense of what some of the names mean. The names that are getting thrown around that sound like they're supposed to have some sort of significance. Because I know that the Starks are a really big name in this world. I haven't seen a damn thing about them in the game, aside from the fact that apparently they caused trouble and were overthrown. But everybody's still holding it against everybody who ever used to work for them. So anyways, let's get started with the only purely good man in this entire game, who is unfortunately lost to us now. Rest in peace, Gregor Forrester, Lord of Ironrath. Lord Forrester was the Lord of Ironrath and a bannerman of House Stark. As a youth, he famously arm-wrestled Galbart Glover for the privilege of becoming the man's squire. Glover later joked that he'd gladly lose the match all over again. Gregor married Elissa Branfield, a daughter of Southern Targaryen loyalists. All of these fantasy names are tongue twisters. A daughter of Southern Targaryen loyalists, before Robert Baratheon seized the Iron Throne. Gregor ascended to the lordship after his father died of the Trident and led House Forrester for 16 years until he was slain at the Twins. So the Twins is where we were at the beginning of the game. That was that castle with the guys who I can't even remember their name anymore. So Baratheon seized the Iron Throne. Is that a guy from the show? Somebody tell me down below if you wouldn't mind, please. Lady Elissa Forrester, Lord Forrester's wife. Elissa Forrester was born to House Branfield, a minor southern house that was destroyed when the Targaryen dynasty fell. She has been married to Gregor for many years when Robert's rebellion signaled her family's demise, yet she nonetheless felt conflicted between her father's loyalties and her husband's. In time, Elissa came to feel that Ironrath was her true home, and she embraced her role as the Forrester matriarch. She has silently sworn that she'll never see her family destroyed again. Good. So it seems like she's gonna back me up no matter what I do. Roderick Forrester, firstborn son. Lord Forrester's eldest son, Roderick, was trained from an early age to shoulder the burdens of leadership. In truth, he was built for the role. Strong, charismatic, and formidable on the battlefield. When Robb Stark called his banners to war, Lord Forrester asked Roderick to stay behind and protect Ironrath, but Roderick would have none of it. Instead, he rode off at his father's side and led the Forrester cavalry with such valor that his name came to be feared amongst the ranks of Lannister soldiers. Roderick fell in battle at the Red Wedding and is presumed dead. He did get crushed beneath a horse, did he not? It says presumed dead. So he's probably gonna show up later. That's wrong. I need to hit this arrow. Asher Forrester, my new third protagonist. Exiled second son. Asher has always been a rebellious youth, brawling in taverns, sleeping with whores, and finding ways to raise his father's ire. Perfect. But his life took a dark turn when at age 17 he fell in love with Gwyn Whitehill, the eldest daughter of his father's bitter rival. Ooh, so we got some Romeo and Juliet, forbidden love between conflicting houses. Bloodshed ensued and Lord Forrester faced a grim choice: go to war or exile Asher across the narrow sea. He chose the latter. Asher remains in Essos to this day, living as a sellsword, trying not to think about the life he left behind. Meera Forrester, eldest daughter. Meera had always been fond of Ironrath, but Lady Forrester, wanting her eldest daughter to learn the ways of a Southron court, arranged for Meera to serve as a handmaiden to Margaery Tyrell. To Meera's great surprise, she enjoyed attending on Margaery at Highgarden. and followed her to King's Landing with enthusiasm. Life in the capital has not been easy for Meera, as her straightforward northern ways are often at odds with the subtleties of court life, but she also has more guile than she realizes. Ethan Forrester, third-born son. Whereas his older brothers were natural warriors, Ethan always found himself drawn to pursuits of the mind, particularly music and books. Man, it sounds like I really would have liked this guy. He also bore a great love for the towering trees of Ironrath, a love he shared with his twin sister Talia. Ethan was just a boy when House Forrester joined the War of the Five Kings, but by war's end he had been thrust into a role he was unprepared for. Sadly, his lordship did not last long. Ethan was murdered in cold blood by Ramsay Snow, the bastard son of Roose Bolton. Talia Forrester, second-born daughter. During her fourth pregnancy, Lady Forrester dreamed she would birth a daughter with a voice like the summer rain, but as fate would have it, she gave birth to a boy. The infant Ethan wailed for hours until Lady Forrester entered a second labor, this time birthing a girl. She named the girl Talia after her own mother, and from then on, Ethan hardly ever cried. Her dream came true, for Talia has a lovely singing voice, though her tunes have all been sad ones since her twin brother's murder. Keyboard does not work, stop hitting it. Ryan Forrester, fourth-born son. Man, he's got a lot of sons coming out of that lady. The last of the Forrester children, Ryan grew up idolizing his older siblings and spent many an hour chasing Ethan and Talia through the grove. His youth had been pleasant and shielded from responsibility, but recently Ryan's innocence has begun to fade. He's darkening. When the war began, Ryan was too young to understand why Roderick and his father were leaving home, but the grim realities of a house at war have been impossible to avoid, and Ryan is now being held hostage by House Whitehill. Garrod Tuttle, Squire to Lord Forrester. Garrod was raised on stories of heroism about the likes of Arthur Dane and Simeon Star Eyes. Though the son of a pig farmer, he's always aspired to one day become a warrior himself. With the help of his uncle Duncan, who had risen from Lobon origins to become Castellan of Ironrath, Garrod found work in his Lord Forrester's stables, rising through the ranks to eventually be named as Squire. After the Red Wedding, Garrod found his family murdered and took vengeance. He was subsequently sent to the wall. Duncan Tuttle, Castellan of Ironrath. As a boy, Duncan showed such talent for managing his family's farm that everyone assumed he'd one day take over. But Duncan was fated to run more than fields and a pig pen. In time, he struck up an unlikely friendship with Gregor Forrester, Gregor Forrester, the heir to House Forrester. That's how you say it. The two grew close, and when Gregor became lord, he named Duncan his Castellan. Many eyebrows were raised, but Duncan proved himself worthy and has served the house well in the long years since. Sir Royland de Gore, Ironrath's Master-at-Arms. Royland de Gore joined the Lord Forrester's army after his family was wiped out by Ironborn during the Balin Greyjoy's rebellion. Who's Ironborn? De Gore had a natural grasp of military tactics and strategy and came to play a crucial role in the siege of Pike that ended the war. In the months that followed, King Robert awarded Royland a knighthood, and Lord Forrester asked him to serve as Ironrath's Master-at-Arms. Sir Royland still holds the position and is known for his military expertise, as well as his legendary temper. Maester or Tengrin. Maester to Ironrath. Originating from a minor house in the Vale, Maester or Tengrin studied at the Citadel in the hope of being assigned to the Eyrie. But by the time he'd earned enough links on his chain to graduate from Acolyte, John Arryn had been murdered and the South was in turmoil. The Citadel ultimately assigned Maester Ortengrin to Ironrath, where he soon came to respect the Forrester family's honor and integrity. He now serves the Forresters with pride and has become a trusted advisor to the Lord. Malcolm Branfield, Lady Forrester's brother. As a young man, Malcolm was the black sheep of the Branfield family. He liked to roam the countryside in the style of a hedge knight, refusing his father's offers of marriage and lands. Attaboy, wants to be a wild man. Malcolm fought bravely alongside his brothers when House Branfield fell, yet he and his sister were the only two survivors. In recent years, Malcolm has lived with Lady Elissa's new family at Ironrath, and is the last of the Branfield line. He is currently across the narrow sea hoping to bring Asher Forrester home from exile. Ironrath, ancient seat of House Forrester. An imposing stronghold surrounded by towering ironwood trees, Ironrath marks the ancestral home of House Forrester. Built over 1,500 years ago by Cedric Forrester and his triplet sons, Ironrath is a testament to the strength and endurance of ironwood itself. More than one visitor has called Ironrath the most striking keep in the north. Even Ned Stark was said to be envious. Ironrath sits on the edge of the largest ironwood forest in Westeros, which has proven to be a strategic advantage for the house. Nice. It's our house, it's our Ironrath, ain't nobody gonna take it from us except for that bastard who came in and stabbed me in the neck. But you know what? We're gonna get him back. Before this game is over, I'm going to ensure that that man's head is thrown into the sea. He's going down. Okay. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. This new iteration of the Telltale games, Storytime. I will see all of you in the next video when we begin episode 2, and hopefully get introduced to this wild man Asher, because I want to see what he's up to, and whatever's going on at the wall, and maybe, just maybe, get another chance to sass off at the resting bitch face queen, who I can't even remember her name anymore. C something. I want to say Caesar, but it's definitely not Caesar. See you all in the next video. Bye-bye. Say hi to the most annoying sidekick in any Zelda.